first ever Strike a Chord podcast.
Here we go.
Kicking it off. Ending 2025 and 2026.
Yeah.
Starting off 2026.
Welcome.
Welcome. Excited to be here. I'm Chord McLaughlin, Chief Investment Officer here at Legacy Trust.
And I'm Kristen McLaughlin, CEO. We are doing this as a way to sort of better communicate. Chord and I have been talking about this for a little while in terms of how we can better communicate to our clients and do it faster and more efficiently and not have him try to get to all of these meetings and have every client see his face all the time. So we're trying to get all those thoughts that are in his head out a little bit faster. So this is our way to strike a chord with that. It's just very funny. I'm sorry, but that's so funny.
It is funny.
It's not always going to be the chord show because we don't want that much pressure on you, but we're going to do some things that...
Nor does everyone want to hear my voice every single week.
Right. We have other people that want to shine, and so
we certainly do.
We dragged you here and we put your name, but there's other things that we're going to talk about. But the big focus is just trying to get more communication to our clients, get the communication to happen faster. We can text it, we can email it, it can be on our website, but also to talk about some things, like I said, that are happening sort of behind the scenes that, somebody's at a cocktail party and sometimes we hear, oh, well, everybody's talking about the AI bubble. And, some people don't even know what that is. And other people are like, well, my investment people aren't talking to me about it. But we are. We just don't necessarily spend a ton of time outwardly talking about it. So as good a job as we do on the investments, your team does on the investments, probably our communication is what we feel like we should do a better job at.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. We're always looking for ways to improve communication, and everyone takes in information differently, and so this is really a different avenue for us to get that information out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it makes it easy, and it can be interactive. We're hoping people will give us some questions and stuff, so we're sort of just laying this out. It's still the end of the year, but it's the beginning of the year for our podcast, so they're going to come out weekly on Tuesdays. We're going to throw it out there, and we're going to be on iTunes and Spotify and all those places where what's the people say, like where you get your podcast or where your listening pleasure or whatever. There's a line.
There is a saying for that.
There is a saying for that,
sure
but
that
ours is
but...
that, but we don't know it because we're not good at this. We don't know what we're doing, but we are.
But that line will be associated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That we'll be in all those places. So, with the goal being, what's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish, other than sort of what our big intent is? But if we're sitting here a year from now, what are you thinking? Will be, oh, we did a successful podcast with the feedback we got, or.
Yeah, I think the goal is to really disseminate information more quickly to clients.
Mm-hmm.
We've always done the standard, market updates via email, various email blasts that we have. We're going to keep in place, but those are more time consuming in terms of composing, writing, sending them out, getting feedback from clients. And so we're going to be able to disseminate the information that the investment committee and teams are discussing far quicker, in a more digestible format to where you're not having to read paragraphs on paragraphs.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hoping to help clients tune out the noise a bit, and the noise is associated with financial media and media outlets, and help them focus on what really matters. So keep them up to date on what's relevant to them through the initial week, which is going to be the happenings episode, and then keep them up to date on what the investment committee and team are watching, discussing, and monitoring.
And I think making it so that it's also people are understanding what they are hearing, whether it's from us or from, on the news or whatever, trying to differentiate between what is noise versus what is important versus what is we're talking about. And I think, a lot of times we talk about the estate planning piece and people are like, could you just put it in English, right? I don't think we even know how many acronyms we use and how many financial terms that we use. And people don't want to stop us, but we're trying really hard to say, this is going to be in English, right? It's going to be at least from my perspective, I think that's what I would say would be if people are like, oh, I really get what you do now. without having to have a CFA,
Yep.
right? So, okay.
And that's probably one of the most challenging aspects of my job.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
getting it in English
Right.
sometimes.
Exactly. We're going to have different hosts, and part of that's going to be the reason, I think, is that we're going to sort of peg you with, okay, Chord, like, I don't understand that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't dig into what you do. Like, it's not my passion like it is yours. And one of the blessings we have at Legacy is that it is your passion, and you love it, and you care about it enough to want to share it with all of us as clients. But, like, I don't really want to know, but I sort of want to know.
Yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, we're going to help you and
Hopefully
each of
we
us
deliver
understand
upon
it.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's a big, I think, a big part of it. So,
Absolutely.
okay, so you sort of talked a little bit about the layout, but sort of you want to lay out the themes, it's going to come out weekly. What's it going to,
It's gonna
each
be
week?
weekly, yep.
Yeah, each week we're going to try to,
It's going to be a rotating theme each week. And so week one, first week of the month, is going to be happenings. And that's where we're really going to cover, break down what's happening across the markets, economy, and share what's really relevant for clients and listeners to really know. We're going to move into the second week, which is going to be hearings. And that's really going to be what we're hearing from clients. Common questions that we're hearing from clients that we feel like we should disseminate the answers to a broader audience because it's obviously on people's minds.
whether it's investment related or not. Right?
Yeah,
like
investment
we're
related
going
or
to
not,
have
financial planning related,
some of the
charitable
some of the-
gifting.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the family partners coming in and saying, "Hey, I just got a phone call about this. How are we going to respond to that?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I love that. I think clients are going to like that.
I think so too. That's probably gonna be one of our more popular episodes. And then week three, we'll roll into what we're calling huddle. And that's really going to be sharing the latest on what the investment committee and team here at Legacy is discussing, what we're watching, what we're monitoring, and things that we feel like clients should be aware of, and kind of bringing everyone in, bringing listeners in to internal discussions.
I think they're going to like that too.
I think so too.
I think we're going to have people that want one part and people that think it's an every other week thing because they want you more than they want the other stuff. And then the how process is going to be our fourth week of the month, and that's really, well, go ahead, you describe that.
Yeah, so I mean that's really going to be us diving into the process of how Legacy goes about everything that we do across the board, how we go about building portfolios from the ground up, how we go about building financial plans, how we go about estate planning, bill pay.
Yeah, onboarding a client, like
Onboarding
what
a
it looks
client.
like, how long it might take, what that first 18 months might look like, how we help people with an estate plan, right? So
Managing taxes.
yeah, managing taxes is a good one. So things that I think clients expect from us, but also don't know that we do sometimes.
Yeah.
I think will be a good in the highlight section. I mean, in the how section, and then in the highlight section, we are going to sort of get specific about some services, and that'll only happen the fifth week of the month, which is there's only one a quarter. So, so that'll be a little bit more highlighting some of the legacy services, what we do, why we do them, what our clients have asked us to do. So,
So we've really built our. If you look at our services, we offer a whole myriad of services, and it's kind of come to the forefront over the past couple of years that clients aren't really aware of all of these services that we offer,
right.
Despite discussing it with them in like the initial prospecting phase and whatnot. So I feel like it's going to be a good chance to kind of remind clients, hey, we do offer this service.
Right. We talk about second gens and their 401ks when they start a job, and like just stuff like that I think if it's not your circumstance today, you don't think about it 3 years from now. So it'll be sort of a reminder about how we do that stuff, because that's I love that stuff. That's the fun stuff, is making second and third gen understand like there's responsibility that comes with money, and pretty much all of our clients' kids are going to have, and grandkids are going to get something.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Okay, so what sort of we talk like your first like huddle and happenings aren't going to be for a little bit. We're sort of, we've ended 25, 26 is coming. Everybody's like, oh, what about an economic outlook? When am I going to get that? Like, can you sort of just as a precursor to happenings, like explain, you're probably not going to have that on the second, and this is why, and what that process looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly is that season of predictions. Every major investment bank, big firm out there is coming out with their price forecast for the, or let's call it predictions, if you will, for the S&P 500 price targets, what's going to end the year at. And definitely want to warn against listening to or paying too much attention to those, because they always prove to be significantly off the mark when looking at them in hindsight. But people don't typically look at hindsight.
Well, but they also it's like what's a headline?
Yes.
Like if I say the market's going to crash, everybody's talking about that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's certainly the headline. But nevertheless, we're getting a ton of every firm's coming out with their annual outlooks, economic outlooks, market outlooks, and each report is probably a solid 80 to 100 pages long. Mm-hmm. And so we're in the process of aggregating all those reports.
How many do we get?
I'd say upwards of 9 to 10.
Okay. And who do we get them from? I think this is like a talking point about how we are like open architecture, and we don't favor necessarily one firm over the other. So can you talk about that for a second?
No, yeah, that's really the beauty of how we're structured. We're open architecture, and we're really able to build a mosaic of all of these opinions, thoughts, strategists, thoughts across all these firms, including Wells Fargo, Merrill Lynch, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and then last but not least, Fund Evaluation Group, or FEG, who serves as our primary research consultant. We're able to consolidate all of those. That's just to name a few. There's far more out there.
And then you also get like from our actual managers, right?
Managers,
like
all their
the
letters.
Bond managers put out a letter and a forecast.
Their outlook for their specific asset classes that they focus in on. So our bond managers, they're going to be providing a fixed income outlook. Our equity managers, for their specific area of the markets that they're managing, they're going to be providing an equity market outlook.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a minute before we get this out to clients,
yes.
in terms of written form, in terms of, in a Family Matters newsletter or anything like that, where you're going to be like, oh, this is what we think for the year. It's going to take a bit and a couple weeks probably, right?
I'd say
early February?
Towards the end of January, beginning of February. And so what we're able to do now with the benefit of, one of the benefits of artificial intelligence and incorporating that into some of our processes, is that we're able to upload all these reports into Copilot, the artificial intelligence that we use here, and aggregate all this information together. We're able to have dialogue with Copilot, asking various questions about what's the consensus across these reports, where do they agree, where do they disagree, and that helps expedite the process a bit.
That's crazy.
Instead of having to read 1,000+ pages, spending weeks to do so, taking in all that information, we're able to really expedite the process through.
And then you also discuss it with humans.
And then we discuss it with humans. We certainly do.
That's not just.
Discuss it with humans, discuss it amongst the investment team, and present multiple key takeaways to the investment committee. And amongst the investment committee, we then distill it down to the 3 key themes that we feel like are really going to be driving the economy and the markets for the calendar year.
Yeah. Okay. And then that does get into client performance reports, but it sort of influences everything we do unless there's huge changes.
It does.
Right?
Yep.
So it's sort of like this is where we feel what's happening. Not that we don't adjust throughout the year.
No.
Right?
I mean, there's been years in which the 3 key themes that we laid out to start out the year, we've ended up adjusting and modifying those 3 themes because the year has evolved so quickly into 2 or 3 additional versions of the key themes as the years evolved, and that's how we manage portfolios as things evolve as well.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes planning is like, I know it's how important it is, but like when you're trying to think, okay, where's the firm going to go? What's our 3-year strategic plan? And you put these things down, and the minute you actually get it on paper, and you have to tweak it, like it has to change, and really, that's the nimbleness of what you get to do also. And it sounds great. You put a lot of work into it, but it's a roadmap, but it's not necessarily like we may go off course. Right?
Absolutely.
Right. We may take a bypass or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah. So if there's traffic, we'll change it. We'll change our route.
And we should certainly expect traffic.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. There will be traffic.
Yes.
So, anyway, okay. Well, I think like that's sort of a good expectation. The next episode is we're going to feature a family partner or two.
Is that right?
Yep. So you're off the hook for that because you have to do all of this reading and talking about what's happening with the with all the collection of the information that you're getting. But yeah, I think that'll be fun. So we are welcome to feedback. We would love to have feedback. We would love to have some questions. We would love to have a guest if somebody wants to come on as a guest.
Absolutely.
Like, wouldn't it be fun to have a client guest?
Yeah. To have a client guest be the interviewer,
Wouldn't that be
or
sort
we
of
could
fun?
interview them.
Yes, that'd be fun to have them be the interviewer.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be scary. But
I was just thinking the same thing.
It would be fun. We'd have to vet that person.
It could go two different ways.
Exactly. That could be very funny, or it could be very bad. But yeah. So welcome to the new year, 2026.
Yeah,
and
excited.
We'll see how this goes. Thank you for putting up with me and letting me sort of say, "Come on, Chord, we're doing this."
No, it feels good to be here right now.
Yeah, I think our clients are going to be really, really happy to hear more from you and I will feel good about it that we're also still letting you do your job. And so clients get to know you a little bit, they get to know us a little bit better, and still at the same time, you're able to do the work behind the scenes, which is affecting everyone's portfolios.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So,
another beauty of it is, I mean, we've got this schedule laid out, right, with each week having a specific theme. But if there is a major market moving event that we need to address with clients, we can hop on this podcast real quick, do a one-off ad hoc episode, address it, get it out without having to spend a few hours on a full-blown write-up.
Right.
And that allows us to really get back to the desk.
Yeah.
And
get your trading done or whatever has to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. That's very true. I think that
I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah. I think that's going to be, we've got to let your team do what your team does best. And first and foremost, you have to take care of everybody's money. And then, yes, of course we have to communicate that. But I want the priority to be that you guys always know that you can do that. And I think sometimes you get pulled into, we've got to spend a day calling clients because the market's crashing.
Yep.
So anyway, well, this is exciting.
It is exciting.
Thank you again for putting up with me on this. We'll see what happens. We'll see everybody next week, and we're going to do hearings and what our clients are saying. So have a great week.